Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? Welcome to the Mixer, and today we're going to be talking about, you know it, you love it, Slipknot. A long time ago, I recorded a video about this same band, and it is actually one of the most popular videos on my channel with over 2,000 views, where I was talking about the very thing that I'm going to be discussing with you guys today. Their, up until then, unreleased 6th studio album, which finally came out a few months ago, and it's called We Are Not Your Kind. Now, guys, it goes without saying that I am a huge Slipknot fan, okay? I love heavy metal in general, many different bands, but Slipknot was the first metal band that I got into, and they're the ones who opened up the floodgates for me to become even more immersed in this world of even heavier rock music that I was a fan of when I was younger. And Slipknot, you guys know their story, right? Or should know if you're a fan. 9 crazy bastards who came out of nowhere from Des Moines, Iowa, who just brought this new scene. He brought this new thing to the metal scene back in the 1990s that nobody had seen before. 9 guys in a band, each one doing something different, you know, playing a different instrument, and there was sampling, there was these crazy different, I don't know, it's hard to describe Slipknot, it's really hard, but over the years they have evolved, they have gotten better, and still, like, what is really special about this album? I'm gonna get into it, I'm gonna dissect it. It wasn't perfect, but what's special is that it let the world know that these guys are still around and they can still rock really hard. The thing with Slipknot is that you never know what to expect. They are completely unpredictable, and they always pull out the rug from under you. When it comes to heavy metal, they know what they're doing. That goes without saying. This time around though, there aren't 9 of them anymore. There are 8 now, because Chris Fenn, who was the percussionist, he left the band due to legal reasons, citing that they weren't paying him certain royalties that he was deserved. But then Corey Taylor was like, no, wait till the truth comes out, you know? So there's this whole debate going around. It's crazy. It's like when Joey Jordison left in 2013. It's just, it's a different band. You know, it doesn't feel the same without Paul Gray, who died in 2010, and Joey Jordison left, and now Chris, and now we have these new members, and there's a yet to be named unknown percussionist in the mix, you know, to replace Chris. But anyway, on to the album. We Are Not Your Kind. Across their entire career, this has been their most experimental album to date. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm also not saying that it's a good thing. Because when you are a band like Slipknot and you do the same thing for so many years, it can be a little risky to experiment and do something different, you know? For example, Linkin Park is a band that had a lot of success in different genres. You know, they started with metal and rock and a little bit of rap mixed in, then they got into electronics and soft rock, and then they were doing pop, you know, and a whole different kinds of genres, you know. But Slipknot is something different, you know. Slipknot is based on metal, you know. So in their new album, there's still a lot of metal, but it's more groovy now. There are elements of groove metal and some electronic, you know, and it's like, it's not that it's bad, it's just weird. Because you listen to some of the songs and you're like, this isn't Slipknot, you know? There are some songs, like I had to listen to the album like dozens of times before I could record this video, because I wanted to really analyze it and pick it apart detail by detail. So I've been listening to it, you know, for a while now. It's been a couple of months already since it released. And in general, I like it, I do like it, but at the same time that I like it, I find myself being more drawn to their other works, like for example, Point 5, The Gray Chapter. That is my favorite Slipknot album, you know? It used to be All Hope Is Gone, then it became Point 5, because their albums are like, to me, they just get better and better and better and better, you know? Each album of theirs that I heard was my favorite until I heard the next one. But with We Are Not Your Kind, that didn't happen, at least not yet. It's just strange. I don't know. Now, there are a lot of riffing guitars, you know, and all those sounds, the crazy upbeat drums and all of that, you know, like you can feel that this is Slipknot at its core. And Corey Taylor, of course, with his unwavering voice, you know, throws those vocals out, the melodic singing and the screams, you know, and his voice hasn't given out at all. And it's funny because, I mean, these guys are getting old, you know, I think they're all in their 40s now. And they're still doing this, you know, and it's gonna start to take a toll on them, because if you watch Slipknot live, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, and you watch them live today, it's like it's not even the same band, because even rock stars get old, guys, you know, it happens. But still, I think that the pounding, how can I say, the pounding force that they put into this album really shows that they're still around. When they released All Out Life some time ago, just the individual music video and the song, we were like, wow, these guys are still here, they're still around. Which was what Clown said, Clown or Corey, one of those two. They said that the reason that All Out Life was not put into We Are Not Your Kind in the album is because they wanted it to be individual. They wanted it to be something to let everyone know that they're still around, you know, not just be part of an album. Which is funny because there's a line in the song that says "We Are Not Your Kind" over and over and over again, and that became the title of the album, and the song isn't on it, so it's just a little, I don't know, I honestly think it should have been included. I understand their reasons for not doing so, but I think it should have been. That's just my opinion as a fan. Now, songs that I really like, you know, the singles Unsainted, Solway Firth, and there's also Critical Darling, I really like that one too, and Orphan, you know, but these songs, they don't make too much sense, because when it comes to heavy metal, some of the songs, there's a lot of symbolism involved, so sometimes it's hard to make sense, you know. Solway Firth might just be my favorite song on the album, but it's hard to understand. Like, it's hard to interpret, because Solway Firth is the name of, I think, of an Italian peninsula somewhere in the ocean, like a place somewhere in Europe that has these combinations of salt in the water, something like that. It's a geographical thing. So it already starts off weird. Like, why are they naming their song this? Then you listen to it and it's like, it's strange, you know, like I don't know, like, I won't show you the whole story. I won't show you the aftermath. I won't show you my allegory. Don't look away. Here's an unexplainable one, you know, and it's strange. Like, there is my favorite line of the song is when he says, "You want a real smile, or the one I used to practice, not to feel like a failure." You know, I love that line because I just identify with it so much, you know, because so many people in the world, we practice smiling, you know, day in and day out, you know, and we just do it to pretend like we're not failing ourselves, you know. It's really crazy. Look where this video is headed. Look at what I'm doing now. I'm explaining philosophical meanings behind Slipknot songs. That's how much of an effect they have on me. But anyway, I think that the songs, when they all come together, they are a very strange mixture of heaviness and lightness. Like, the song Spiders, I believe it was Spiders, is like the most avant-garde song on the entire album, you know. It's strange, it's melodic, it's almost kind of haunting, you know. Not that they're strangers to haunting tunes, you know. I think that Slipknot started to change a lot past Volume 3, Subliminal Verses. There were slower songs that were more steady and calm, which didn't feel like Slipknot at all. It felt more like Stone Sour, which is Corey Taylor's other band where he plays rock. And it's strange, you know, because like in All Hope Is Gone, the song Snuff, that had nothing to do with Slipknot at all. That was almost like Stone Sour or Corey Taylor's acoustic solos. And in We Are Not Your Kind, that is, Slipknot, they have a strange habit of putting short little audio takes in between their songs to serve as like bridges, right? I guess it makes sense that way. But it still doesn't make sense at the same time, you know? It's strange, it's really weird. And I think that the album, it starts off on a really good tone, you know. Unsainted, it's a really, really good song, you know, and it has Corey's vocals, it has his screaming, his singing, and the growls, you know, and all of that. Everything you come to know about a Slipknot song. Then it starts getting strange. We go right into Birth of the Cruel, which is a song that I didn't like too much. I don't know why. It just didn't really sit well with me. I don't know. But it continues and goes on. Then we have Nero Forte, Critical Darling. I'm pretty much just listing the songs here at this point. Now, I think that Slipknot has a good potential when Corey is using his singing and his screaming. You know, when it's just screaming, it starts to sound more like, you know, Iowa, where there was a lot of screaming involved, one of their oldest albums, and also their self-titled 1999 Slipknot album. And Corey did go on record to say that this was gonna be Iowa levels of heavy, their new album, and it was gonna feature one of the heaviest songs they've ever done in their career, which I'm guessing is Solway Firth. He didn't really make himself clear on that, but I think it's Solway Firth. It's the last song on the album, and it, in my opinion, is the heaviest, you know, in terms of actual literal sound, heaviness, and also symbolism. I think the lyrics are really strong, and I don't know, it's kind of strange, you know, because the album, it took so long to happen. It took so long. And when it finally came out, I think my expectations were so astronomically high that I was just a tad bit disappointed. But that doesn't mean that the album isn't good. It's an amazing album, but I was expecting even more. But then again, this is Slipknot, you know, so let's be honest. Us fans, us maggots, we always expect more than we get. I have been a diehard Slipknot fan for many years now. I can't remember when I started listening to them, but it wasn't too long ago. I think around 2012, 2013 or so. But since then, it's been just a roller coaster of emotions, man. Because I went through a Corey Taylor rabbit hole, you know. It was Slipknot, Stone Sour, you know, and every other collabs that he's done with other artists, you know. To me, Corey Taylor is the ultimate artist, you know. There's no question about that. And between him and Chester Bennington, who died 2 years ago, like it was hard to decide which one was more epic, you know. And since Chester is gone, I look up to Corey a lot now, you know, while he's still around. And Linkin Park and Slipknot are my two favorite bands ever, you know. Linkin Park being rock and Slipknot being metal. I can't even decide between these two bands, which one I like more. Depends on my mood, my humor. But anyway, We Are Not Your Kind, in a nutshell, it's a pretty good album. It's a really good album. It's fantastic. It is amazing. And Slipknot has come back, you know, better than ever. They show that they are indeed still around. Although that there were a few things that I think were missing, because Clown said that they had originally recorded, you know, I think 27 or so songs for the original album. So they were actually going to make a double album before. You guys remember Stone Sour when they made House of Golden Bones Part 1 and 2? Slipknot was going to do the same thing, you know, according to Sean Crahan, Clown. So there are still a lot of songs on the cutting room floor, you know, and from what Sean said, you know, there were songs that were selected that they didn't really feel would fit the bill, you know, so they chose the heaviest songs, right, from what I understood. So I think that maybe they could release the other songs in some kind of package later on, maybe a limited edition of We're Not Your Kind, some bonus tracks, because they do that all the time. There are always bonus tracks on these albums. But I was honestly like, wow. Like, I know they worked on this album for a long time, but imagine writing almost 30 songs and only using like, what, not even half of that, you know, a little less than half. So it's pretty crazy, guys. It's pretty crazy. Being a musician is really, really crazy. I used to be one myself, and I still do write songs, so it's not an easy life. It's not an easy life. But I think that Slipknot, they really came back guns blazing. You know, they showed the world that they weren't down for the count, because as the years went by after Point 5, the Great Chapter, people were starting to wonder if they were still even active, you know. They were touring, of course, doing their shows, but nobody knew if they were still together as a band, because a lot of crap happens in that group, you know. And if you guys know Slipknot, if you know the band, if you know their story, you can imagine how much tension there is inside the group, you know. There was a DVD a long time ago called Voluminal, Inside the Nine, which I actually have. I have the DVDs right here, actually. I don't know if I can show you guys. I actually have it right here. I think so. Nope, it's not the same one that I'm talking about, but it is a DVD. It's called Keep the Face. Right? I don't know if it's gonna focus, but can you guys see it? Keep the Face, a Voluminal Evening with Slipknot. This is actually more like a live show, you know. This was back in 2005, you know, when they had just released Voluminal Verses, right? Subliminal Verses, sorry. So no, I don't have that DVD, but there is a DVD called Voluminal Inside the Nine, which I'm guessing is like a documentary sort of thing where they talk about what it's like to be inside the Nine, you know, the original 9 members. So it's pretty cool. So even though that they are friends, they love each other. Corey Taylor once said in a song by Slipknot, Till We Die, it was, family is much more than blood, you know. I've never known trust like the 9. And that's true. They are a family, you know, they're very close-knit. But still, this is Slipknot, guys. There is obviously a lot of chaos going on inside this group, you know, and it reflects on the music that they record and the live shows that they put out, you know, and the way they act in public sometimes. But anyway, as a fan, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. There was more. I think there was more that could be included. I'm still expecting a little bit more the next time around. But if I just keep listening to the album over and over again, maybe it'll grow on me, you know? It took a long time for their original albums to grow on me, man. The original Slipknot release and Iowa, they took a while to grow on me because they were too heavy, you know, and I was still getting into heavy metal. Today I can listen to them, you know, normally, you know, but I think We Are Not Your Kind might take a little while longer. But anyway, notwithstanding, Slipknot, they're back, guys. And they're here to stay. So whatever comes forward in the future, you know, I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. All right, I'm really excited, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy to be a fan. I'm very proud to be a maggot. Well, guys, I think that's it. I think that's all I can say for now. That was my review, more or less, of Slipknot's new album. It was very interesting. Very interesting. I think it was really cool, and I'm excited to hear what else they're going to be releasing in the next few years. All right, so it was good, you know, it was worth the wait, you know, it was really worth the wait, and I'm happy. So this is Chazzy signing out from The Mixer, which I am happy to announce finally has its old title card back, because I hated the old one that I put in my last video. So The Mixer, What's the Damage, these segments are gonna have their old title cards again. You know, I was able to how can I say, I was able to retrieve them, I was able to salvage them, so I'm gonna be using them again. So I'm gonna be signing out for now, guys, and as always, I will see you in the next video, which will continue the same line of thought as this one. Watch it and you'll understand why.